Well, it seems the crypto world has been keeping up with their own version of hide and seek. After a wild goose chase that lasted several months, the infamous crypto boss, Do Kwon, has finally been caught. Apparently, the mastermind behind the $60 billion USD wipeout was trying to make a run for it with falsified travel documents, no less. But the joke's on him because he was nabbed by the long arm of the law while trying to board a flight to Dubai at the Podgorica airport in Montenegro. And he wasn't alone. He had a partner in crime, Han Chang-chu, who was also caught by the Montenegrin authorities. So it looks like the cat's out of the bag, and these two are in for a rough ride. Let's see what happens next, shall we? So Do Kwon got arrested, and now we're wondering what's next for him. Will he be sent back to the US or his home country, South Korea? And how much time could he be looking at behind bars? Let's take a look. Well, it looks like both the US and South Korea have filed for his extradition. The US wasted no time in announcing criminal charges against him, including commodities fraud, securities fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to engage in market manipulation, and conspiracy to defraud. On the other hand, South Korea has already filed charges against him months ago. Lisa Braganza, a former branch chief of the SEC, thinks that the US has a strong case against him since he targeted US investors. But at the same time, South Korea has a good argument since Do Kwon is a South Korean citizen and his crypto firm Terra Labs was a major player there. Plus, there were more victims from South Korea than from the US. So what do you think will happen next? Minister Zoran Pazin said they will consider several factors including Kwon's citizenship before making any decisions. We have received requests from 2 countries for extradition. We will look into it and see if any other country comes forward. Looks like Do Kwon's fate is still up in the air. He could be cooling his heels in Montenegro for up to 30 days and face a hefty 5 years in the slammer for fudging his travel documents. But hey, who knows how long he'll really be in the clink or if he'll end up there at all. According to former US federal prosecutors and SEC members, it's more likely he'll just get hit with a fine for being a bad CEO. I mean, let's face it, poor judgment isn't exactly a criminal offense in the land of the free. To lock him up, prosecutors will have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he knowingly defrauded investors, and even if they do manage to make that stick, it could take an eternity before he's sentenced. Well, if they can prove that Do Kwon committed a crime, the consequences could be pretty serious. Take the case of Stefan Hee Quinn, for example. He's an Australian who scammed hundreds of investors out of more than $90 million in a Ponzi scheme, and he was just sentenced to over 7 years in jail in February of 2021. Then there's Roger Carlson, who got 15 years in prison after pleading guilty to securities fraud and money laundering charges. He cheated over 3,500 victims out of nearly $16 million. So you can imagine that if Do Kwon is found guilty of causing losses worth billions of dollars to hundreds of thousands of investors, he might be looking at a pretty hefty sentence. I mean, even Sam Bankman-Fried, who's dealing with a similar situation, could face up to 155 years in prison if the prosecutors win their case. But hey, if they can't prove that he did anything wrong, they might just have to settle for some civil penalties in the form of fines. Do Kwon's arrest is big news, but don't panic sell your Terra Luna just yet. It could take years for this legal drama to play out, and who knows what kind of plot twists could be in store. Maybe Do Kwon will go on the lam like Carmen Sandiego, or try to bribe his way out like a character from a bad crime novel. Either way, it's worth keeping an eye on the situation and making sure your investment strategy is on point.